Christmas in the Acme Ballroom by Mabel Brown Stewart. Letter 13. Honest Abe. December 16th. Dear Miss Hatch, rehearsal went okay, but then things really went downhill. We blocked most of Act 1. Janice and Lana weren't there, so I felt a little better. I didn't notice any weird things about the lights either. I did hear a few loud bangs during one of the scenes, but Mrs. D said that someone from maintenance was working on the boiler. Relief. When we were dismissed, I started walking out with Ivy, Henry, Jamal, and Darla when Mrs. D calls my name. Hold on, I tell them and walk back towards the stage. Mo, is everything okay? Miss D's eyebrows are pushed together and her mouth looks tight. I'm fine. Did I do okay today? Oh, yes, you were fine. Better than fine, actually. But Janice mentions that she was concerned you were upset over something that happened to your locker this morning. Janice? Janice said that? I'm confused. Make that perplexed? Word 51 on Mr. Wells' list. Yes, she said that she saw an offensive sign on your locker. We had a long talk about it. My friends helped me take the sign down. I'm okay. It's over. I try to sound cheerful. Glad to hear it. Come to me if there are further issues. Miss D gives me a quick, light hug. She's not normally a touchy-feely type of teacher, so I'm surprised. I will. Oh, Mo, would you have time to run down to the costume storage and get some of the brown fabric from the bin by the door? I thought we should get started on Caliban's outfit. I look over at my friends waiting. Sure, Misty. The key's hanging by my desk. Be sure to put it back when you're done. Oh, and take the others too down there if you like. I walk over to my friends and let them know that I have to head down to the crypt before we can meet. Darla says, Hey, I'll go down there with you. Henry, Jamal, and Ivy all chime in too. Oh, I'm so grateful to my friends at this moment. I can barely speak. After I grab the key, we all traipse down the stairs. Traipse, number 37 on Mr. Wells' list. Have you been down here before? I ask as I work the key into the door. They all shake their heads. I guess I thought the costumes just magically appeared in the dressing room, Henry says. His voice sounds a little shaky, and I look at Jamal and Ivy, and they both seem concerned, too. I sure haven't been down here, chimes Darla, because, I didn't even go to school here. She's the only one that seems carefree. I wonder if I should say something. I mean, yes, we're in the basement of the school, which is totally off limits to most students, and yes, it's dim and pretty dingy, but these guys say they're ghost hunters. What's the deal? Why are they nervous? Is there another story I should know about? After unlocking the door, I flip the fluorescents on and lead them in. This is it, I say. I wonder if they will sense the same feeling of magic that I do. Doesn't take long and I find my answer. Wow, Darla says. She immediately starts rummaging through a pile of hats on a nearby shelf. She chooses a stovetop hat and plops it on her head. Hey, look! She poses with her hand stroking an imaginary beard. I'm Honest Abe. Ivy spots something. Look, Elvira's dress from Blythe's Spirit. She takes it off the hanger and starts putting it on over her dress. Darla's looking through a rack of tailcoats to find one for her Lincoln look. I start searching for the fabric that Mrs. D wants for Caliban. When I turn around, Jamal is putting on a pink tutu, and Henry has an old-fashioned nightshirt and a white wig, so he looks like Scrooge. They're all laughing and posing. Darla hops up on a stool and begins spouting the Gettysburg Address. The crazy thing is, she has it memorized. Once she gets past 7 years ago, which everybody knows, we all start paying attention. Wow, Jamal says as she finishes. You know the whole thing? Yep, says Darla, bowing as we applaud. All 272 words. True confession time, I had a crush on Abe Lincoln when I was 6. Oh, and while I'm showing off, I know the first 83 digits of pi. Henry smiles. Okay, now we know. Darla is a genius. I have to admit, I Didn't know about Darla's amazing memory either. We all stand listening to Darla rattle off numbers. Everyone is smiling with amazement, and we burst into applause again as she finishes the 83rd digit. "What's that sound?" asked Ivy. Everyone stops. That same scrabbling, scratching sound is coming from inside the wall closest to Darla. "Is that Jeff?" Henry turns towards me. "It could be," I say. "Jeff!" Henry walks over to the wall. "Is that you?" "Who's asking?" comes a small voice. Henry hesitates. "My name is Henry. I'm here with friends." "You look more like Scrooge. Are you expecting 3 spirits?" Jamal takes a step. "Are you a ghost?" he asks. "I'm not a spirit," says the voice. "I'm just an extra, extra clever little mongoose. I'm here to tell you things are about to change." We all look to each other. "Will you show yourself?" Henry says. Again, silence. We stand still for quite a while listening. Henry and Jamal ask a few more questions, but Jeff does not respond. "I think he's gone," Jamal shrugs, turning back to the costumes. "Well, that was pretty freaky," Ivy shudders. We all agree. "He could see us, but we couldn't see him. And what did he mean when he said things are about to change?" Jamal asks. "I say bah humbug to that," exclaims Henry. "Hey, I've got an idea. Since you're wearing the Honest Abe hat, Darla, why don't we play the truth game? You already know we think you are amazing. Here's your chance to tell us what you really think of us." Now I'm nervous. Is this a good idea? Darla strokes her imaginary beard again. She stands very still. Then she speaks quietly. "Sure. Okay. I'll start with you. Henry, since this is your idea. You're a good actor, but you kind of act like you're in charge. It's sometimes annoying. Ivy, you're pretty, but your voice is too soft. I can barely hear you when you say your lines. Jamal, you're pretty cool, but I wonder why you're hanging out with the losers in drama club. You could do better." To say everyone is stunned doesn't even begin to describe it. Everyone just stares at Darla. I hear myself saying, "Darla, stop," but it's too late. Ivy starts to cry as she stumbles out of Elvira's dress. Jamal says he has to leave and he bolts up the stairs, abandoning the pink tutu on the floor. As a parting shot, he yells, "Great game, Henry." Henry walks over to Darla and lifts the hat off her head. She stands there in a daze for a moment and then collapses on the floor, crying. I don't know what to do. "I've got the fabric so we can go now," I say lamely. It's a long, silent trip up the stairs and out of the school. Darla's still crying as we walk together toward the Acme building. "What happened back there?" I asked. "I don't know," she says. It's like I didn't have control over my voice. I said such terrible things. Now those kids will hate me forever." "No, they won't," I try to reassure, but I don't really know. I feel like something just snapped in half, and it won't ever go back together again. Your super sad former student, Mo.